Women in Gaming.
Hello everyone, I'm Anneli from JobMatchingPartner, and I am very pleased to introduce the ladies who have come to discuss the future workforce of iGaming with Women in Focus. We have Cindy Macintos from Pinnacle. She is the Chief People Officer. She's from Holland, but she lives and works in Curaçao. She's a woman of color, a very colorful person as well. We have Paulina Kapitonova, a founder of Headshot Recruitment Agency, HR Director with Alpha Affiliates, an iGaming businesswoman with insights from multiple angles. And we have Ayelet Mamo Shay. She's an Israeli woman living in Gibraltar, an author, relocation specialist, former iGaming professional, and co-founder of several businesses worldwide. She's also an advocate for female impact on businesses. And we have Milena Sakune. She's from Riga, head of HR at Revpanda and an advocate for equality. Milena is an expert when it comes to building loyal and profitable teams in 15 or more countries worldwide. Thank you. So, we are talking about who joined the iGaming industry before, who is joining now, and who will join in the future as the workforce. We will look at some numbers from the All in Diversity project, and Paulina is going to share some details. I have also gone back to a company that I used to work for, which is Unibet, now Kindred Group, and I've pulled some numbers from their very detailed annual reports. So we can see that in 2005, 74% of the workforce in iGaming were men, so the rest were women. In the executive teams, 100% were men back then. If we're looking at numbers in 2011, and I'm looking specifically at Unibet, who is now Kindred Group, we had board of directors were 6, non-executive were 2, and 100% of them were men. In 2021, we are looking at 25% being women, and in top management, 74% are men and 26% are female. So we are seeing a clear change of the focus to women actually entering the workforce throughout iGaming, but also on a leadership level. So I will leave over the word to Paulina. Please tell us about your figures. You have some stats that you can share.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Anneli, for giving me this introduction word. So actually, I came in the gaming industry in 2015, and I really see the tendency to parity now in positions, in applications, and etc. And based on the background of Alpha Affiliates, how we managed to create the team, now I see that there is a parity, really. For example, in Alpha Affiliates, their C-level proportion of men is 51, and women is 49. What goes about the applications, here we see the tendency that women apply more for the jobs, and we see that 61% of women apply for the jobs, and less percentage goes to men. We cannot explain it somehow, but again, in comparison, when we go to the team, it tends to parity. So, in comparison with the 2015, I can see that there is a tendency, and it goes not about the legislations or about some particular policies about diversity and inclusivity in the company. It goes about the tendency in the market that everything tends to be the same, I mean the proportion of men and women.
So we have seen a change throughout the iGaming industry. I took the opportunity to also look at women in tech. They had a gender diversity report in August 2023. They said that women in tech, in gaming, so it's not iGaming, but gaming, 28% of their workforce last year were women, and only 16% were women in leadership. Whereas in iGaming now, we are seeing 29% of women in leadership roles, and 45% are now the workforce, female workforce, according to the All in Diversity project. They have shared some numbers for 2024 with us. So we're really moving forward, I think, in iGaming. So we're pioneering here. Milena, do you have any insights you could share as well?
Indeed, when I started in Revpanda, it was still a startup, and it was just around 20-30% of female in general represented in the company. So all the roles were dominantly male, both marketing and, let's say, more technical ones, such as development, site management, and things like that. But now in 2024 finalizing, we are seeing that overall we have 49 to 51% representation of female versus male, and indeed half being in leadership position as well. So we are already very close to coming to this side of being not only equal, but also providing the equity.
We have seen a change. Again, I'm looking at numbers from the All in Diversity project, which are quite clear and easy to read. They say that sports betting has now become the largest vertical. It's surpassed casino and slots, and esports is growing immensely, and fantasy sports. So does this lead to a natural increase of the workforce being more male-dominated? Because men seem to be the greater, most players are men when it comes to sports betting.
Overall, I think it is a correct trend, let's say some 3-5 years ago. But now with the TV coverage on female sports, on esports, we're having a lot of cyber sports females who are also participating in those things. And when we are talking about LATAM as a market, which is one of the dominant in sports betting, like 1 in 6 women are currently betting, mostly in millennial age. So I believe we will have more and more women coming in those positions as well.
Thank you. Cindy, coming from a sports betting brand, which is one of the largest ones globally, do you have any insights to share with us when it comes to the main benefits of blending, having your gender balance in leadership?
Leadership. Yeah, I think again, whether it's gender or anything else, it's about the diversity, right? Different perspectives that you bring to the workforce, different ideas, different backgrounds. So it does have value to have a balance in your organization with different voices, different experiences, right? And also the gender diversity.
Why are women then more likely to hold leadership roles in HR and marketing, for example, than classically called strategic roles? Is this changing now, or is it still the same?
I can speak from an HR perspective. It's, of course, one of the most important roles there is. So, and in our organization, it is also part of the executive team. So it's also part of a strategic of the strategic decision-making team. I do think, of course, maybe from before that women had more the tendency to go into these types of roles. But even in my team, I try to make a diverse team with the representation of men and women so that it's not all become very one-sided. But I think it also will change, right? Because we see that people are more open to choose different types of professions without feeling that those choices that they are made are gender-driven. Right, so.
Ayelet, you have helped many women to move to Gibraltar, and they're leadership women, many of them. have you seen what kind of roles that they are actually working in? Do you see a gender difference with work, what they are doing?
So basically, we're helping a lot of companies and ladies and gentlemen to move not just female, and we are moving them not just to Gibraltar, in over 50 countries around the world. So I can tell you that I think that thing of they're just going to HR and things like that, it's not exist anymore. We see a lot of ladies actually working in the IT, in finance, and a lot of other different roles. And I can tell you that they are doing an amazing, amazing job because they bring such a contribution to the company. And they actually, the companies actually benefit from them a lot. And I think that is very, very important that they're working in different roles in that industry and to give them the opportunity to show what they actually can do and the contribution that they can contribute, definitely. So it's definitely not just in the HR role.
Of course not. All over. I'm also in HR, so but there are many roles where women are prevalent. What implications do you think you could have from establishing the vision, values, and goals to team members from the outset? What implications will it have on the outcome later on? Would it have a positive impact also on the players, the end users, if you do this? Milena, you brought this up.
So what I think is that once the team can align on the common vision of the product, for example, and everyone has the opportunity to share the idea and to be heard, then in the end user will definitely benefit from it because people who believe they're heard in the workforce, they are also more engaged and they are more willing to do more and to try to be basically the best in the companies as well. But the main implication in iGaming industry specifically is bringing the psychological safety in the workplace. So if women do not feel that the management supports or that the country legislation is not willing to provide them equal opportunities, then it's becoming more and more difficult for the companies as well.
Paulina, please comment, because this is a very open subject and it's very important to discuss.
So from my point of view, I think that both women and men and their presence in the company is necessary. Why? I don't like to say about generalizations of different categories, but the statistics usually show that women and men have distinct management styles. That, in conclusion, leads to the end user. For example, when women, they try to use supportive and more interpersonal management style, men usually are more risky, more strategic, and etc. And it's like growing up the kid in the family. The same goes about the company and the end user of this or that product. So for me, I see both positive sides in combining these two management styles.
Cindy, could you please also give your insights?
Could you repeat the question, please?
So we're talking about how mixed gender leadership teams would impact on the end user in the end.
I agree with you indeed that it will impact because I think that the customer experience and the employee experience are very much related. They're two sides of the same coin. Different sides of the same coin. So if you have a leadership and a management that is diverse and that works closely together and has indeed that vision and mission alignment, that will indeed directly also reflect on the customer. And the customer base is, of course, changing. It's not only men, and you have then a better representation of what is actually happening out there in the world.
I really just want to add that I think together we are the best. And when we actually have the benefit from each side, we could actually really help each other and solving a lot of problems and being more creative and being much more innovative. And I think it's very, very good for the companies. One, we have a mix of 50-50, and that's the way it should always be. We could actually, all of us can benefit from it, both sides.
Right now, 66% of the roles is that females are in the lower paid jobs and entry level, and in the senior levels, 29. Is there a specific reason you see for fewer women being further up on the pay scale and when it comes to in more senior roles? Is it because fewer women apply for the role? Or is it because of anything else? What do you think? You have a recruitment agency as well, so you see the applicants, who is applying for what roles?
To be honest, we don't have this inequality in pay gap because we track it every month. And moreover, for example, 1 year ago when I joined the team, we always make these ENPS polls. And we track the relationship management as well as the satisfaction of the salary. And in comparison to the last year when the ENPS was 16% of satisfaction of relationship management and salary, now it's 96. So for this year, not integrating different diversity and inclusion policies, but making it like something common and etc., I can see that employees are more likely to be satisfied with it. So based on my experience, I don't see this gap.
No. So based on, I also work in recruitment, and we don't really see a great difference when it comes to salaries, but we are seeing that more women percentually are working in the lower paid jobs. So there is a greater representation of women at the entry level than further up. So is that because women choose to leave iGaming for some kind of reason? Or is it for any other reason that you can think of that we are seeing more women at entry level than further up?
I actually say that if you don't ask, you don't get. So you really have to go out and ask for it. And I know that sometimes some ladies, they don't want to ask. They are shy. They have a lot of commitment with the house, with the kids. But I think you should actually go out and ask. I have a beautiful, beautiful story that I would like to share because it is, I think, a lesson for all of us. I had a client in Israel that I helped them to do some relocation. And then one of the lady, she was a cleaner. She was a cleaner in this company. And she always believed she wants to be something very, very important, but she never had the opportunities. And she had to survive, and she had kids, and she had to do something about it. So she was the cleaner. And one day, one colleague actually came and said, you know, there is a position that's going to be open very soon. Go for it. And she said, no, I can't. I'm the cleaner. I can't do that. And he said to her, you have to go. So he secretly went and put her name down. And she'd been invited to the interview. She did the interview, and the managers love her. And now she's actually in the management position, which is amazing. So whatever you want to do, whatever you want to achieve in your life, just go and ask for it. And don't be shy, because things happen, and you have to make your dream come true. Maximum, you will hear no. But no, it's okay. But at least you try.
That's, I think the beauty of this industry is that you can come from anywhere, and if you show what you're made of, you can end up being in the leadership team, or you can end up having your own company like many women here have. Cindy, can you give me a little bit of an insight on if you think that if you would point out the main benefits for women, whatever strength they bring to the table, if you sit around to take decisions, what are the main strengths that come from women in general? I mean, we can apply the 80-20 principle here, but...
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult to say, right? Because we have so many different women nowadays with so many different backgrounds. I'm quite fortunate to work with a lot of very strong women and a lot of strong personalities who are very passionate about their job and often also very vocal about it. So that is definitely something that they bring to the table. I think the main strength may indeed be that when women are passionate about it, they often indeed stay longer with a brand or with an organization, right? Because they're passionate about it. And that may be also sometimes the reason why they not necessarily, as you mentioned it because I was thinking about it, some maybe not necessarily always grow, right? Because they like where they are, they like the environment and where they are at, right? So I'm not saying that that doesn't mean that you don't have ambitious women, but that could also be one of the reasons why you see that they're often in those mid-level and not necessarily pushing through to those higher level roles. But I think, mainly that passion for the job, and they express that passion. Some will say it's emotional. I don't necessarily think that that's the word, but they also have that collaborative strength. They like to work together. You know, they come up with solutions together, sharing ideas together. So I think those are one of the strengths that they bring to the table, right? So, and again, overall in this iGaming industry, right, you cannot survive if you're not curious and solution-minded.
Milena, do you have anything to say here?
What I see at the moment is that women tend to pay more attention to details. So it also comes to the fact that sometimes it can go to a little bit negative side when the person tends to overthink. But for the business perspective, then it eliminates the risks. And we are on the safer side from a legislation perspective as well.
I totally agree with both of you, but I will call it every lady, she is the CEO of her life because she can do so many different things and she contributes in so many different levels. She can actually solve lots of problems. Normally, if she has kids, she knows to do 2 tasks at the same time. She can manage everything. And if she wants to be successful, she can be successful. And it doesn't matter in which field and in which industry. I always said that nobody will tell you what is success. Success is something that you actually do for yourself. You measure it for yourself. Nobody will tell you what is success. If you want to run a business now of a gaming company with 400 employees, and that is success for you, fantastic. If you want to run a small bakery, and that is success for you, this is a success. And if you want to look after your kids at home and make sure that they have lunch every single day and they're going to school, and this is success, so this is success. So nobody will tell you what success means. What I do say is that always look up what you want to be and what you want to do in your life and the way that you want to contribute to the market. And once you decide what you want to do, I'm sure that you can actually figure it out, be the CEO of yourself, and bring a lot of things to the table to make it happen.
But I think you mentioned an important point there. While you were saying it, I was thinking about something. I think one of the reasons why some women also don't grow to these certain levels is that because they are multitasking too much. They are taking too many things
And
upon
as I mentioned,
themselves.
they don't have to.
No, and that's
They
the point,
don't
right?
have to.
Because they think it's, and it's great that they feel that they can do it, but because you're then unfocused, that often also leads that you're staying in one place. So I think it's great that you can. The question is if you should, right? If you want to.
Exactly. So I think it's something that we leave to each one of us to decide.
Yes, just take one thing, focus on it, and be a rock star, if that's what you want, right?
Paulina, please, do you have any insight yourself?
I really can agree with the point that it doesn't depend on whether you are women or men. It depends on your own tendency to be successful and to do something for your own. For example, if you can speak what you want, if you can share your ideas, if you are able to present and to defend your point of view, I'm more than sure that in any company you will reach this success.
I think we've come quite far as women in iGaming. And a final question, because I believe we're over time now. Is further legislation required? This is a hot topic. So is a further legislation required to to drive gender diversity, or should the employer take the responsibility? So is it up to the employer, or is it up to legislators to decide on gender equality in iGaming?
Do you want to take it? I'll take it. I actually see it as a triangle, to be honest with you, because I think it's so important that the companies, first of all, have some rules in place. That is really important. But apart from that, is actually making a lot of things as well in terms of the community. A lot of companies all the time looks up for other companies, what they are doing, and they just copy them. And another thing, and another triangle that I see, another point of the triangle that I see, is the education. So there is a lot of different things that we need to look up just to make that these rules will be from the young age to an adult age. I think this is something very, very important, to give something back to the community, to show some example, to involve as well the young generation, because the young generation is the most important thing, and obviously to put some rules in place.
Me as well, I can agree, because I don't think that this policy really may happen if the company from the basement, it doesn't have it. For example, in our company, we don't have these policies, but all the processes, starting from recruitment and ending to performance review, they tend to create this equality. So that is how it happens, not by creating some kind of legislations or policies, written, I mean.
What I think that in some countries that women are still underrepresented, let's say in some African countries, legislation is definitely needed because companies do not understand like what they should do and how they should approach. But in the EU, for example, where we have quite a lot already, putting more and more legislation by the government officials who do not understand the industry will not make much sense. They will just be a burden and not providing resources for further education and overall empowerment to the women.
So I have a little bit of a different angle on it. I think that it's not necessarily getting in more policies. I think it's also training on a level of self-awareness, right? So if you can incorporate that in your training, in your HR training or management training or whatsoever, you will see that once people get a certain level of self-awareness, they will check themselves, they will check their biases, and hopefully then you will also see that they can move from there and broaden their horizon.
Thank you very much. We have come to the end of our discussion. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. And I look forward to continuing our discussion following when we come off stage, because I have so much to say about this. Thank you very much.